So this is a major place where refugees are sheltered. Please introduce to us about the safety situation. I have been here for most of the time. For the past 2 days, all kinds of tents were set here, but the weather forecast told us there is going to be rain, so people have been moved to some indoor shelters. However, all parties are trying to address this issue to place these people in further place. Now it is very inconvenient for people to store their personal belongings outside of their tent. And now we will see some cars and trucks moving people further away. We have interviewed some refugees. They told us after the breakout of the campfire on November the 8th, they were placed here in the first time. First, because this is a rather remote area and it's an open land. It's kind of near to public spaces, so it is more convenient for them to move around. We can see the tents lined up on two sides of the road. Now it's 4 p.m. or nearly 5 p.m. in California. The temperature has started to drop, and it's kind of hard to imagine how can they endure the long night. We can see numerous tents and relief efforts donated by some other people, like things like food and water. This is where volunteers and the relief efforts are. We've been talking about a forecasting rain coming forward, and these wood will be used to support the tents, to prevent water infusing the tent. Every day, the volunteers here will provide fresh fruits and water. We have seen a truck unloaded some fresh fruits, such as bananas. Now we can see some local volunteers. They have donated a box of water and banana. This kind of situation happens quite frequently here. They're living here because of these free donations. We have asked some refugees. The basic needs of their lives can be satisfied. Some people say that we are trying to move them to indoor shelters, but some people cannot leave this place because they're working here, and it is rather inconvenient for them to work here and live further away. And there are no accessible vehicles.
How many days you are here? Tell us.
Today's my first day here. I just drove up. I live south of here. I'm a student, and so just wanted to come up and try and help out.
Can you briefly tell us what services that we can provide to the people here?
Well, what we're trying to provide here is really just kind of support and guidance. A lot of the people here were previously displaced and homeless to begin with, so they're finding themselves secondarily displaced. And the things that they need right now are just clothes, food, sanitary supplies. And so we're just a random collection of volunteers. So this isn't a unified voluntary effort. It's just a lot of people coming together and just contributing what they can.
These supplies are enough to the people here?
Yes and no. So some things we have in excess, and some things we're missing, and that's the nature of just depending on donations. You know, some people we have plenty of water, but for some people, you know, they need pots and pans to try and cook within their tent. I mean, people are cooking on gas stoves, and so we're trying to help them out. In fact, this gentleman here just brought some pots and pans.
They have enough clothes.
Some people, well, that's a challenge coming up with the rain. I think a lot of people are unprepared for the rain that's going to be coming here starting on Tuesday. But
Give me 1 second. Let me translate into Chinese to my Chinese audience. 刚才他跟我们说呢，说他是今天第一天来到这里，但是这个
Just now he told us this is his first day here. However, in the past over 10 days after the breakout of the campfire, these volunteers came here on their own wills to serve people. Right now, food and water needs are satisfied, but there are some things can't, like pans and pots for cooking. These needs aren't satisfied yet. They're trying their best to help these refugees to provide what they can for them, to provide as much as possible. As he mentioned, there are clothes for the coldness of night, but it's not enough. There's a big information board. Let him introduce this for us. What are their purposes?
So we're trying to provide some guidance for people. A lot of these people lost homes, so we're trying to offer them access to insurance companies, place for support for rebuilding their homes. Also trying to provide some advice on some of the public health issues that have come up. For example, some of the shelters have had an outbreak of norovirus, you can see there. And with the people in close quarters in these shelters, it's created a very difficult outbreak of this disease. And so we're trying to give people some advice on how we can help mitigate the spread of that.
Are there any doctors here?
Well, I'm actually a doctor, but I'm not working as a doctor today. I'm actually... yeah, so there's been people that come in with minor injuries. You know, I've just offered my assistance where I can, but right now I'm just working in a different capacity. And
Sure, yeah. 因为刘老师好像是他提到了这个病毒的一些问题，您跟大家做一下。
I think he mentioned something about a virus. Just now, this doctor told us. First, he's a doctor, but today he says other capacities. He's doing his volunteer work. First, he mentioned there are a lot of information on this board, like preventing norovirus. This virus is spreading in multiple shelters, including this one. This is pretty dangerous in populous places. There are diarrheas and vomits as consequences. 70% of this virus-related diseases happens when you don't properly wash your hands. And here's the information about how to rightfully wash your hands. Let's look at this green one. This is a shuttle bus information. Every day at 4 p.m., a shuttle bus would come to pick some people up because the rain is coming, so people can't live here anymore, so they are developing new shelter places every day at 4 p.m. Here it also mentions, because these places aren't far enough to the campfire places, so this tells you to wear masks to prevent lung damage. This is a warning and a request.
So Dave, just tell us what are these for? And
can you please introduce
this is like kind of
to the shuttle?
To this fairgrounds. What are these for? And since when?
so, right, so the county is opening up a permanent, a long-term shelter. The problem is we've had so many homeless people in this area to begin with. The shelters filled up very quickly with the people that lost their homes. And a lot of the people who are without a place don't have anywhere to go. And this is not a sanctioned shelter. This is just where people showed up and congregated, and then suddenly, people started volunteering to help all these people that were just living here in the parking lot. The issue is this is going to rain. In about 3 days, this is going to become very wet, and there's going to create some challenges for the people here. What the county would like for people to do is to go to that shelter where it's going to provide better amenities and better support. But the dynamics are, again, a lot of the people that are here are homeless, which mean, and homeless yet they live and work in this town. So a lot of the people are not enthusiastic about leaving because a lot of their day-to-day activities, their doctor's appointments, their job is here. And so without transportation, if they go to the fairgrounds, the issue becomes for them, how do I continue to keep my job? And so it's a complex public policy issue that we're dealing with right now. Some people are going to go to the fairgrounds, and some people are not.
They're gonna stay here?
They're going to stay here because this is the place they know. This is where they've lived, whether they've had a home or not. This is the place they're familiar with. And to be shipped out, there's definitely benefits. I don't want to say that I have an opinion one way or the other, but I recognize the problems on both sides of this issue.
All right. And you're going to stay here for another day, or?
Right now, I'll probably drive home tonight. I just live a few hours south of here.
Okay. Anything else that you want to introduce this to us?
Well, I would say, as for all advice or suggestion. So for the people that are displaced right now, right now they're under a lot of stress, and so they're just trying to survive day to day. I think what would benefit them is if they can get into a place where they're not worried about food, shelter, and water. Perhaps they can start to think long term about some of the things that they're going to have to address, whether it's insurance issues and health care. Some of those long term problems, they're going to have to address that soon. And yeah.
Thank you so much. And I know you need to leave for home, like 3.5 hours, and safe driving. Okay.
All right.
And, thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you so much, Dave. Thanks. Yeah.
I was curious. Do you have a car?
Oh yeah. Let me give you later. Okay. And I need to do a left shot. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. 我现在跟大家简要的先介绍一下这个情况哈。刚才这个 Dave 也跟我们说到了，他说呢，为什么要这个牌子呢？是说要将这儿的这些空地上的人进行转移，主要是非常重要的一个原因啊，是因为这儿要下雨了。刚才这个刘老师也提到了，是因为过2天呢这儿要下雨。如果像这样一片空地啊，然后如果是下了雨以后，真的是不太适合住在这儿。
An open land like this is not appropriate for people to live. But another issue is that a lot of people would choose to go to the long-term shelter provided by the government, where they can stay for a rather long time, which is indoor and more sanitary. But there's the issue. A lot of people are actually working here and they have lost their traffic tools. If they leave, they can't have their jobs anymore, so they don't want to go. But they are also facing sanitary and living issues right here. So this is a challenge faced by the local government. Now let's interview some local people.
Hi guys. Hey.
They're also the survivors of this campfire.
How have you been? How many days?
We got here 5 days before the fire started in Paradise. Yes, for work and for get out of the weather in Montana. It's kind of cold up there this time of year.
Oh, you mean you come here?
For work to get out of the weather in Montana. Oh, we left Paradise the morning of the fire at 5:30 to go to another part of California to work on a roof. We got notified at 2 o'clock that Paradise was burning. All our stuff's there. My ID we left with the clothes on our back and the tools we needed to do that job that day. And we had.
How about your stuff? I mean, you
it's gone. We planned for this trip. I've been working for this trip for years to come from Montana to California in the wintertime to work and to go out and prospect for gold. We brought our gold equipment that we use in Montana. California is supposed to be opening up dredging this year. We brought our dredging equipment. We had a $6,000 dredging machine that's gone. So, I mean, we love. No, all I had was liability, which is not full coverage, so it only pays if somebody else, if I do damage to somebody's property, it doesn't cover my own. So, no one's paying. FEMA might not either. So.
Give me a second. I need to translate in Chinese to his audience.
Okay.
他跟我们说呢，实际上他跟他的伙伴两个人呢是几天前在大火爆发以前。
He has told us he and his friend here arrived a couple days before the campfire. They came from the north of California, Montana. They have come here to work on some construction. But 5 days later, Paradise broke out the campfire. But all equipment of theirs are in this town. But fortunately, when the fire broke out, they weren't in Paradise. They were in other places to work. However, they were forced to evacuate to this place. But everything they got, including their cars and IDs and the paperwork on work, were all engulfed by the fire. They planned to spend the winter after coming here from Montana, but the plan didn't work out, and they need to use their own pocket to make up for their lost fortunes. So this is a painstaking issue.
From Montana, it's cold. Donate everything here, everything we have nothing to work with. Clothes that they're giving us. I mean, the people are great. I mean, Americans pull together when there's a crisis. If they could do this all the time, we would have the greatest country in the world. Anyone would.
So you guys still appreciate that what you got, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. I have a card. Where's my card at? I had a small child come today giving me a card with a paragraph reading in it telling how she felt about my losses. She does not know me. She took her own money. Wrote this message to me and sent me cards. 13 years old and 15 years old. And there was an 11-year-old that did this and wrote messages about how this disaster is making them feel. And they're not even here. They're little kids. Yeah, they have big hearts.
这位这个市民跟我们说呢，虽然说经历了非常不幸的一些事情啊，但是还是发生了很多暖心的一些事情，像他们现在所有的吃的。
He has told us, although they have experienced unfortunate events, These sleep bags are all donated by volunteers. They have taken out a card written by kids, by teenagers. They wrote, "Although we have not experienced this, but our hearts are with you."
They're doing much better due to all of the help and people coming together out here. Yeah, we're both from Montana. I moved to Montana from Florida.
This has helped them to be more brave.
There for about 4 years.
Let's take an interview to
Just moved out
another
here, like he said, to do some
person here.
work and some gold prospecting, and we had a big Ford F-350 flatbed loaded with a big trailer loaded, his camper loaded, everything that we owned, and like he said, we had about five days of paradise before it all burnt up.
Oh my God. Can you show the inside of the tent to us?
Yes.
This
Yeah,
is
we
all
went from
from the donators?
Yes. We went from 26 feet with bathroom, stove, refrigerator, beds. We had 4 beds in the camper. To this.
看来这里边真的是除了一个卧床、一个睡袋以外，空无一物了。这就是他们出来打工以后所有的剩下的东西。但是呢，不幸中的万幸是他们活下来了。再给刚才讲一个。
刚才他跟我们说呢，实际上他们几乎是他跟他同伴2个人是拿着所有的东西来到这边，而且是带着拖车，是所有的工具全都在这个拖车里面，还带着这个被子，所有的东西全都在这儿。但是就是这样一场大火，让他们失去了所有的东西，所有但是
The most fortunate thing is that they have lived through their
从这场大火
distress.
逃了出来
He has told us that they have taken everything with them, and they have a trailer car, and everything they got was in the trailer
还是
car.
很伤心的，但是同时又为他们的这种现在这样一种心态感到非常的佩服，真的是很难想象，像经历了这样一场灾难的人还能够如此的乐观，如此的豁达，确实是不是一件
After hearing these stories, I feel heartbroken, but at the same time, I feel very impressed by their attitudes.
说有人，就是有人告诉他说家里边拍照带他这个天堂小镇他所寄住的地方呢着火了，说你不能回家，你马上跑。他就和他这个同伴一起就。
He introduced us about how he escaped.
他看新闻看到
He was working outside, and he took a call.
没有了，一切都是化为平地了。他们现在回不去了，他现在非常的伤心。他现在生活
They told him paradise, where every of his belongings
看
were.
到这有几个牌子，刚才我也问了一下，他介绍了说这个是他们家的一个。
Were leveled to the ground, and they could not return. Now, this is everything they have for living, these sleep bags, and some Chinese food donated by others. We have some plates here.
等着这个慢慢的救助情况好转以后，再想办法回到家。他们想呢，在这里继续生存下去呢，确实很难，因为他们带来的东西已经荡然无存了，不知道结果会怎么样。
Is around 1,700 kilometers. They miss their homes and they want to go back to their homes, but they don't have the money to go back. Now they're working on it, and they're trying to survive here.
一个很好的一个开端吧，希望他们一切都好。我们再往这边来看一下，实际上刘老师现在当这个太阳落山了以后啊，这个地方真的是很好。
But at the same time, they're very positive. That's why they can go on and carry forward and to bring out a new chapter in their lives. I wish everything is okay with them. Let's take a look over here.
白天这里还能忍受，就是说穿个单衣可能就能过，但是温差相当的大。一到夜晚的时候呢，只有我们摄氏的零上几度，很冷很冷的。所以呢，我们
I can actually feel the chilly gusts. I don't know how their nights can be. In daytimes, the temperature is durable, but the temperature gap is really great.
当地呢要把他们转移走到一些可能是室内的地方去的原因。现在我们看到呢，看这一大堆东西呢，有些乱，但是呢，实际上是什么呢？
If there's going to be rain in a couple of days, it will be harder to endure this climate. So local government are shifting people to indoor shelters. What we're seeing now, amount of things.
这里呢，我们还看到可能有些书是儿童书，可能是有些家长带来给这些难民的孩子，在这个帐篷里闲来无事的时候。
It's the clothes donated to these penniless and homeless people.
有些呢衣服呢看着还挺好的，但是也有。
I could see people picking out the clothes that's appropriate for them.
是一种心愿吧。
And there are also some children's book brought by some parents, maybe.
左边呢看可能又是一个来捐赠物资的一个车，像这种呢，今天白天我们在这里呢，看到了很多，也有甚至有大卡车来这里卸下来，可能是很多人。
These clothes may look old, but they represent the good wishes of the volunteers and donators. They want the people who live here to restore their old life as soon as possible. Here we have a truck.
我们再来看一看啊，来做个检讨，这个采访。看，现在这些人呢，白天穿的短裤、短袖了，现在晚上就要穿上皮衣了。
These people who live in these tents can fetch the things that they need, no matter it's food or clothes or water. Let's take another look over here.
In Chico?
Yeah.
Since the fires?
Where are you from?
Paradise?
You're from Paradise.
Yes.
From Paradise.
Most.
Yeah. And may I ask how is your house right now?
My house does not exist anymore. It's gone.
How many years you are living in?
I lived there since I was 5.
Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. So you're gonna stay here?
No. This is a staging point for me. I've just been waiting for the right spot. Luckily, I've been standing here long enough that a friend of mine saw me, and he is staying with someone who has room. And so I'm going to go stay with them for a minute until I go towards the coast. I think I'm going towards the coast.
That's good. Yeah. So I saw you play the guitar.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you play this to us right now?
There's one guitar left, I think, but this guy just went to go borrow one.
Oh, okay.
What do you want to hear?
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, we just want to show you.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you got some shots as you were approaching of me playing. I mean, that was the best probably moment to get it.
Where are your family members?
That's right. Oh, where? I said
are your
you.
family members?
What you said was, it sounded like you said, we are your family members right now. Where are my family members? One's in Gridley. One of my daughters is in Gridley. Another one is here, and my parents are here, but they're in houses with other family that are okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So any information from the government?
They've given us some, like the FEMA company and some of the community action services, things like that. They're very involved if you're willing to go and wait in line.
And what is your next step?
My next step?
You cannot go inside right now, right?
They're going to keep us out of there for about a year.
Oh my God.
Everybody. Even if you have a house standing.
Really?
Yes. They're going to take 2 feet off the top because they say it's bad from the retardant, the fire retardant stuff that's on the ground. It's like, I don't know. I believe that it's a gold reserve and that they just made us move because they want to get to the gold, and they're going to try to buy up all the property. And I think it's a conspiracy, and it's not a theory anymore.
So you're gonna leave from here, right?
No, I'm gonna definitely keep our property, and we're gonna dig in, and we're gonna get a piece.
And so you're gonna leave tonight to other places for living?
Like I said, I have a friend who's gonna put me up for a minute, and I should be just fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, and nice meeting you here. Okay, yeah.
Hey,
Thanks. Okay.
I don't know where else you're going to hear that story, but be
It's
careful
okay.
with it.
Thank you. 刚才我们采访的这个幸存者呀，他是从天堂镇来到这里的。他告诉我们说呢，他这个房子呀，已经全部都被这个摧毁了。他现在幸运的是什么呢？幸运的是他和他的家人都安全从这个山火里面逃脱了出来。
We interviewed this survivor here. He came from paradise.
但是他们现在有一个非常大的问题，就是说政府给他们的一些信息啊，刘老师您刚才听到了没有？政府给他的一些信息说，他们可能1年之内都没有办法再回到这个天堂镇。对于他们来说，真的是一件难以接受的事情啊。
我觉得最
His life was not threatened.
虽然聊了2句，
However, they have a big issue.
提到了他说他喜
The
欢
information provided by the government, I don't know if you have heard,
说你最喜欢弹的什么乐是一个蓝调音乐布鲁斯了，是一个忧伤的音乐。他说是我喜欢弹忧伤的音乐，但是我内心并不忧伤，因为生活还要继续。生活虽然艰难，你需要去面对，虽然生活中充满了痛苦，但是仍然要去继续。所以呢，他每天就
he
是
has kept a
现
guitar
在还
in
是
his
在
tent.
一个痛苦环境中。
So his favorite music style was blues.
看周围有更多的丈夫在这里。
His music was positive, but
越来越冷了。
his attitude
长期在这个户外这个
and his life wasn't.
是一个长期的这样一个解决办法。晚上的时候真的会非常冷。刚才这个有一个幸存者就跟我们说，他们早上起来的时候，他帐篷外面结的都是冰，所以就可想
The weather is getting colder.
这个帐篷里面是有多冷。很多人在下
Therefore, for them, living outside in tents is not a long-term solution because the temperature can drop to very low degrees at night.
的这样一个情况。
在这里我们能看到五花八门、各式各样、五颜六色的帐篷。我们也问了一下你帐篷是怎么来的，他们
They need to put several thermal things under the tents to protect them from the cold. But this is a short-term solution.
同样的门口呢堆了很多的衣服呢，是捐赠者给捐给他们的。
刘老师，现在很多网友可能也很想知道现在的这个山火灾情的一个情况，然后包括有多少人疏散呀，现在有多少人无家可归啊，还有多少人现在。
So we can see numerous kinds of tents because they are all donated by volunteers, and also the clothes were donated as well. Maybe audiences are wondering about the situation of the campfire.
大家最关心的就是现在呢，整个这个加州北部的山火呢，已经造成了77人死亡，这个数字呢比昨天又增加了一个，因为随着这个清理的工作每天在进行。
So I was watching the latest information. The latest number, which we all care about, is that the Northern California campfire has caused
有些新的发现吧，这是我们很难过的一个消息，一个数字。另外呢，现在呢失踪的人数是993这样一个数字，这个数字呢比前一天有所减少。为什么呢？
We do not hope this number to keep going up, but the search and rescue team and work that's ongoing will probably add some new numbers. This is, of course, a sad news for us.
希望这个数字是零，但是目前呢，确实这个数字还是很惊人的。
现在的这个山火的这个火势呢，是得到了60%的火势呢，实际上都已经得到了控制。这是一一个好的事情。
Sometimes the missing persons can get in contact again, so the number would probably drop. Of course, I hope this number is 0, but this is now a staggering number.
但是这个山火的这个过火面积啊，也一天一天的在增加。然后从前天的14.4万、14.8万这样一个英亩的过火面积，到现在2天不到的时间内，已经增加到了15万以上英亩的这样过火面。所以这个大火的这个。
Although the fire has been contained day by day, but the area has been adding and increasing as well.
好在呢，因为经过这一段的准备，大家的心理准备、物质准备，包括扑救工作都有了改善。这样的话呢，它这个损失的程度呢，应该说不像开始那么剧烈了。我们看了一下，现在这个每天都有这个一种提示。
The situation has been contained, but the acres burned has been increasing as well. The relief and rescue work are all enhancing, but the severity of the fire and the casualties are not as bad as before. Some alert can be cancelled and some risks at certain places can be cancelled. The damages has not been as severe as before. The relief and rescue work will continue to go on for a long time because the whole town has been leveled to the ground and there is this just giant mass uninhabitable for people, of course. So the relief work will of course last for some time. We can see from the tents and the temporary residents, because numerous people have lost their homes, they have to start relocate their lives and their works. How to address all these is a major task. The priority is the replacement of these homeless people. The weather is getting cold and there's a rain coming, so this is where we're all concerned about. Over nearly 50,000 people were evacuated. This complex and complicated relief work and the reconstruction of the town and the placement of the refugees in these towns remains a problem. People have been appealing the communities to donate and more volunteers come here. The local governments are also adding assistance to address their dire issues. This is the most destructive campfire in California. A lot of people are posing their suspects. A lot of people are posing questions about whether it is appropriate for people to build homes in forests. Some people are afraid to go back to their home because they don't know whether fire will come back at one point. Of course, we don't want to see this kind of situation anymore. The big issue is to place the several dozens of thousands of people who have lost their homes. We have another issue, which is the pollution of the air in this area. On the way here, we have seen the torched land. These are the sources of the pollutions. Fortunately, the festival and vacation is coming. We have Thanksgiving holidays.
平时呢都要戴口罩，但是今天呢，在这里呢，我们没有戴口罩，因为我们要和这些受灾的民众去交流，我们没有好意思戴口罩。但实际上，这里边能闻到很浓烈的这个烧糊的味道。
Today, after our stay here for 1 day, we feel not very healthy for our eyes, nose, and mouths, and we have been wearing masks.
整个空气中都弥漫着这种非絮状的东西，实际上是非常有害于这个人的身体健康的。所以这个空气质量问题现在也是。
We can clearly feel that our throats are dry.
希望未来在这个
And the closer we are to the campfire,
再加上这个如果是下个星期如果是有这个星期如果是星期四
the more we can feel the pollution in the air.
这可能是无论是当地政府啊、民众啊，都是非常期盼的一件事，那就是下雨。他们这个期盼呢，已经持续了很长时间了。因为今年夏天加州特别的干旱，也正是这种干旱最终
If Wednesday or Thursday will rain, I wish the air will be freshened. I think the government and people all hope for this.
生活里面能够得到一些教训，就是说，在这个森林里建了这么多的人口密集的这些房屋，这个防御措施，山火的这个防御措施是不是还有哪些？
A campfire at this large scale would cause damages at this level. I hope the lessons can be learned for campfires.
在聊天的时候呢，我说我们刚刚去过他们的家乡天堂镇，这个受灾在最严重的地方，他们呢就一再三的要求我们把拍摄到的照片和录像给他们看。
And we can avoid further accidents like this from happening. When we were talking to the residents here, I told them I was in paradise, their homes.
他们一直想回家看你，但是因为受各方面的管制限制嘛，这个他们还不能回去。但是呢，他们真的是想到那个事情，每个人都是热泪啊，就是忍住的在流下来。
这也是可能这些当地的这些
Their homes, which they have lived for several decades, have been leveled to the ground. They wanted to go back there for at least a look, but they can't because of limitations and restrictions.
是我们昨天看到，昨天我们去了一个当地政府的社区服务中心，很多志愿者、很多政府机构在那里边呢，为这些受灾的人提供各种服务。其中有一个重要的部门呢，就是一个医生，心理医生，为大家提供这种心理。
They have to face this fact so that they can start their new lives. I was at this community service center and there were a lot of volunteers.
要经过多少年以后，可能都让他们铭刻在心。
这样一场山火确实改变了很多人的这个生活轨迹啊，很多人可能不会再回到天堂小镇继续他们的生活，很多人可能会去其他地方。我们在采访
I think this trauma cannot be erased shortly.
这样天堂小镇去继续。
This trauma can stay with these people for several years. The campfire has changed the trajectories of so many people.
前两天少得多了。其实呢，我们希望这里的帐篷越来越少，也就是说，我们希望这里无家可归、流离失所的人越来越少。他们呢，至少呢，能尽快找到一个安身之所。
The residents here would probably choose to live elsewhere and open a new chapter. We can see there are fewer tents than before. We hope for this actually, so this means that we hope there are less and less homeless people.
有意义，然后也是一件非常好的事情。只是希望他们一切都好，然后也希望他们未来的生活能够过得更加的精彩。我跟刘老师呢也会在前方继续关注这个。
In my opinion, we need to stack up our courage to open up a new journey. This is a meaningful thing. I wish them all the best.